I just got out of the WWDC keynote and a special live session with Craig Federighi and the Siri team showing off all the new Siri AI features. So I'm going to break down all the big announcements and some features you didn't hear in the keynote but were hidden in slides and on the announcement pages. And yes, Shortcuts and Apple Home got some serious upgrades this year. I also have the iOS 27 beta running on this iPhone Air, so get subscribed because I'm going to be doing even more in-depth videos on Mac, iPad, iPhone, all coming soon. So this year's keynote was very different. Rather than going platform by platform, showing off iOS and then iPad and Watch, Apple just announced a bunch of features that are coming across the platforms. And they actually spent a lot of time talking about overall improvements, both to liquid glass and performance overall. And we did get our next macOS name, which is Golden Gate. At the beginning of the keynote, liquid glass is getting a lot of refinements, like corner radii is going to match across apps on the Mac. There's going to be a universal slider, so you can choose how transparent or opaque you want liquid glass to be across iOS, your Mac, your iPad. Sidebars in Mac apps are going to go edge to edge. I think that's an improvement. So Apple was definitely listening about all the liquid glass reviews over the last year. And there were a ton of speed improvements that Apple said is coming with iOS 27 and all the platforms, like 5 times faster browsing and transfers in files for iPad, up to 80% faster AirDrop transfers. I'm really curious to test that. 70% faster loading of new captures in photos, 30% faster app launches, and even wireless connectivity improvements when your devices go from cellular to Wi-Fi. A lot of those improvements, it felt like we finally got that snow leopard year a lot of people were asking for. Apple also said search is going to improve across all the platforms with better indexing, and search in Mail should get a lot better with the top result being exactly what you're looking for. All right, I'm going to run down a bunch of features that were either in passing or just hidden in slides during the keynote. You're going to be able to set a custom EQ for your AirPods. Flyover and Apple Maps is getting huge improvements. You'll be able to switch between 2 iPhones with the same phone number. Apple Health is going to be able to log perimenopause. A redesigned podcast app is coming for tvOS. Ideally, it'll be playing video, and also video is going to come to macOS. I'll mention at the end of the video things we didn't get, but Apple TV was certainly lacking throughout the keynote. There'll be live activities in Dynamic Island in Landscape, dual capture in FaceTime, and hidden in the watchOS features page, you will be able to create custom passes for Apple Wallet. So if you want to add your gym membership or a QR code for a loyalty program, you'll be able to add a wallet pass for that. There's going to be improved messages sync across devices, and there was an entire segment all about screen time improvements. Now, one of my hopes was a dedicated screen time app, and we didn't get that, but Apple is definitely hearing that we need better controls and tools for screen time, and I think that's what they delivered. There's going to be things like Ask to Browse, where kids and those in screen time can request certain websites. Ask to Buy now covers free apps and in-app purchases. For sensitive content in messages, it's going to detect violence and gore in addition to nudity. And there are 2 new features. You'll be able to schedule apps and give time allowances. Scheduled apps looks like it's going to be way better than downtime. Typically, you have to hack downtime to get apps to open when you want it for your kids. But scheduled apps means you can have social media apps open later in the day, apart from downtime, and then have apps they need for school and work earlier. And then time allowances, you can dictate games, social media, and video apps and set a certain amount of time across those categories that they can use how they want. And there is a redesigned screen time view in settings, but I still think it needs a dedicated app. Requests for screen time or Ask to Buy is still going to be in messages. I don't think it's the greatest experience, but we're going to talk more in depth about this and all the features in this week's primary technology episode. I'm actually going to get to record it here in Apple Podcast Studio, so get subscribed to that channel. I'll link it above, and you can watch in Apple Podcasts or Spotify as well. Now, the huge announcements today were Apple Intelligence and Siri, which they're now calling Siri AI, Siri plus Apple Intelligence. And all the things we got promised about 2 years ago with personal context for Siri, on-screen awareness for requests, and better world knowledge, that seems to all be coming in iOS 27. Now, there are some caveats for language and region, which I'll get to in a minute, and there actually is a wait list. I had to join it here on my iPhone Air running the 27 beta, so you won't get those features immediately, even if you download the developer beta today, which, again, I don't recommend doing on your main devices, but I got it here on my test device and I'll be showing it soon. Now, in a special session with Craig Federighi and the Siri AI team, they said they tore down Siri and built it from the ground up. So this is not the Siri that we've had for years, slightly improved. This is something totally new. We're also getting a dedicated Siri app. This was rumored before. I think this is a great place where you can have your conversation history, and they said it's going to sync across your Apple devices. So requests you have on your iPhone, you'll be able to access on your Mac, iPad, across everything. And you'll have more controls over how Siri sounds, including pitch, speed, tone, and even accent. Now, that feature specifically is only on the newest hardware. There was a slide saying that the most powerful on-device models are just for Macs M3 and above, iPads M4 and above, and iPhone 17 and Air. So many of the Siri AI features will come to all devices that currently have Apple Intelligence, like the iPhone 15 Pro and newer, but there are a few features that are just for newer hardware. Another one of those is improved accuracy in dictation. Apple says there's a powerful new on-device latest model that allows for better dictation, but it's only for those newer devices, M3 Max and newer, M4 iPads and newer, and the latest iPhones. The rumored Write with Siri, basically a Grammarly that's across all your Apple devices, you'll be able to do that, giving you feedback and punctuation, style, all that feedback wherever you're writing. And Siri AI can take in-the-moment actions for things like messages, music, and reminders. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of live demos here, but we saw a couple on stage, and things like, tell me about this picture, or where was this picture taken, then creating a note from that information. You can ask Siri, what did everyone say they're bringing to the party? And it will go through your messages, your mail, and then show you a summary of what everyone said across messages. So again, all those promises that came 2 years ago, that personal context, being able to pull from all your data on your device, that's what Siri AI is going to be able to do. And Siri AI is going to have world knowledge, so you can ask it about a concert coming in town. You can even ask it where I can buy tickets, and it will let you know if there's a lottery system or a wait list. And so it's going to have better world knowledge, plus that personal context and that on-screen awareness. So it seems like you'll finally be able to ask, what time do I have to leave to pick up my mom from the airport? It can look in the emails, the texts, and put it all together. One of the really cool demos during the keynote was on a Mac. If you use the Siri app, you can give it multiple files and then ask it to compare. So maybe you have 3 PDFs all talking about different tents, and you want to say, what are the best tents? What are the pros and cons of each? Give me a breakdown. And Siri on the Mac can do all of that. So think a lot of the things you might have been doing with Claude or ChatGPT before, that's going to be built into Siri AI, and it's going to have access not only to your personal context, but those files, folders, and we're going to get to shortcuts in a second. Siri is also going to be built right into the camera, so visual intelligence, when you open that camera, you can go to the Siri button and you can ask it what you're looking at, ask it questions, not just a lookup feature, but it's going to be even more powerful. And Siri AI is going to be available in CarPlay and AirPods. I did not see anything about Siri AI coming to HomePod and Apple TV, and I think it's unfortunate because I've used Gemini on a Google streamer. I actually did a whole video about it, I'll link above. It's actually really good, and I would love Siri AI on the Apple TV for recommendations or for search, and being able to ask those questions to a HomePod. There's also great Siri AI features in apps. So for instance, Safari, you'll be able to have intelligent grouping of tabs. It can tell you what those tabs are about. And there's going to be a really cool Notify Me feature. So maybe you're trying to track if something is in stock, like the Unified Travel Router. Well, now you can just ask Safari to notify you when the status changes, and you'll get a notification. And something even more wild, you'll be able to ask Safari to generate extensions for you. So if there's something you want to do on different websites, maybe you often pull information or have a specific kind of summary you want, you can create an extension that will be built into Safari to your liking. The Passwords app is going to get some impressive features, not only notifying you when a login needs your attention, maybe it's been compromised, but it can agentically go to the websites and update your login for you. So rather than actually having to go to the website, log in, change your password, you can just tell the Apple Passwords app, fix now or fix these 5 logins, and it will agentically go. They literally said agent during the keynote, and it's just going to agentically go to those websites behind the scenes and change those logins for you. Calendar is going to have better natural language input, being able to update events like recurring events or weekly, and there's going to be new call context. So maybe you need to call your airline to change your flight. Well, when you're calling that number, information like your flight info, the time, departure, your confirmation, all of that will show up in the phone app while you're on the call. All right, now we didn't get HomeOS, we didn't get any word about HomePod with a screen or an updated Apple TV. There was no new hardware announced at all, but we did get a couple welcome updates to Apple Home. HomeKit secure video cameras will now support up to 4K, which is great. We'll have to see if pan and tilt controls are in there once we update. But there's going to be way better notifications. So I know I get a ton of garage door open and closed a bunch of times if my kids are in and out. There might be a camera notification in addition to a door opening. Well, now AI in the Home app is going to summarize all those notifications into one, and it can say wife has left for the day or so-and-so delivered a package. And there'll be a better browsing for all those HomeKit secure video recordings. And you'll even be able to search all those clips with natural language. So you can search for when did the UPS driver deliver my package, and it will be able to surface the recordings from HomeKit Secure Video in the Home app. That's impressive, much needed. All right, and when it comes to shortcuts, we did get the Describe a Shortcut, and the Shortcuts app will build it for you. Now, they used an example during the keynote of every time I leave for work, text my partner my ETA. That was one of my first shortcuts. It's a pretty simple one to build, but again, I have the beta here. I'm going to be testing it, but being able to prompt shortcuts to build it and then even ask for changes. So after that shortcut is fully built, if you want to change something about it, or maybe something's not working like you want it to, you'll be able to follow up with further prompts on that shortcut. A couple little details in the slide too. You'll be able to save data in shortcuts. This is something I've long used, Data Jar, or we've been using reminders and notes to hack shortcuts in the community. Well, you'll be able to save data in shortcuts. They said new automations are coming in shortcuts, and the use model action will be able to access world knowledge in addition to whatever information you're giving it in variables. Also, just an interesting tidbit I found on the beta right now, when you use the use models action, there's going to be a cloud, private cloud compute, and also a cloud pro action. It says increased reasoning. So now you kind of have a choice with that use models action if you want faster responses or deeper thinking. We're going to be building a ton of shortcuts with that soon. Which, by the way, I do weekly live streams for my Shortcuts community members, and it's going to be wild this summer because as every beta comes out, I'm going to go over all the changes, new automations, what you can prompt it, how to build it. So you can join my community right now for free, but if you become a member, I have a deal just going on this week during WWDC. You can scan this QR code or just use the promo code WWDC26, and you can join for $5 a month or $50 a year for an entire year. You also get access to my Shortcuts database, Shortcuts of the Week, and again, those weekly live streams, they're going to be wild over the summer as we play around with these new Shortcuts features. Then towards the end of the keynote, we got incredible photo tools. Not only is Image Playground going to be more improved, yes, we'll be able to generate wallpapers, create and modify Genmoji, but the AI cleanup features for photos are incredibly impressive. Not only will we be able to clean up, but extend photos. So maybe you need a little more headroom around a photo or it's just a really tight shot. You'll be able to extend that image and even reframe and change the perspective. This is going to use spatial models, Apple called it, to be able to actually shift where you were taking the picture and change that perspective so it's just right. And then it will actually fill in and generate the rest of that photo depending on how you reframe it. It looked incredibly impressive during the keynote. I'll be testing that soon, and iCloud shared albums are going to get better. It's going to be easier for friends on Android and Windows to join shared iCloud albums and full resolution sharing for those shared albums. Now, for all the AI tools and photos, Apple did say there's going to be usage limits for all of that cleanup, extend, and spatial models. Now, if you pay for iCloud Plus, like for more storage or the Apple One subscription, you'll be able to do more. You'll have higher usage limits for the photo AI tools, so it remains to be seen how much you can do in a day if you're just on the free plan. Now, visionOS 27, we actually got a new environment featuring Iceland. Thursmerk, I believe, is the environment. But a crazy feature is you can now take your panorama photos, create a spatial scene, and then go all the way to making a custom personal environment from your panoramic images. That's going to be super fun to try out. And of course, all the Siri AI features will be on visionOS. You'll be able to drag the little glowing orb in the app around. That's pretty cool. Now, when it comes to availability, all the current Apple Intelligence devices like iPhone 15 Pro and newer, again, they're going to get Siri AI, most of the features, but the Mac with M3 and later, iPad M4 and later, and the latest iPhones will have some additional on-device models, the most powerful models, Apple says. We'll see if there's any more features that will be locked to those devices. But as you think about maybe upgrading your devices soon, maybe think about Mac with M3 and later, iPad with M4 and later, and the latest iPhones. Also, when it comes to regional availability, Siri AI is coming in English later this year. It will not initially be available in the EU nor in China. Apple has said they're working on regulatory approvals, DMA, and all that kind of stuff. Now, there are a ton of incredible demos for Siri AI during the keynote. I'm going to see what I can do on my iPhone Air now that I have the beta. But stay tuned. Again, Primary Technology, our episode is going to be coming out Thursday. We're recording from Apple Podcast Studio. We're going to go even more in depth. I have a bunch more briefings and more hands-on, like with the Shortcuts team, to see all this stuff in action. So get subscribed right here. Let me know if you have any questions you want me to ask during those briefings. Drop those down in the comments. Be sure to hit that like button. And again, you can get half off my Shortcuts community right here. Membership is $5 a month or $50 a year. And the weekly live streams I'm going to be doing, covering all the beta changes, new automations, create a shortcut just with a prompt. It's going to be wild. And if you're currently a member and you're paying $10 a month, you still can use the promo code and get that deal for the next 12 months. Stay tuned, even more WW coverage coming over the next few days, deeper dive into the devices, iPhone, iPad, and the Mac. So all that's coming soon. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.